All right, Rob, let's go again. I mean, we've already hit two newsy stories, right? Deshaun Watson not settling and thus not being traded to Miami. Odell Beckham Jr. not being traded and his dad going off on Baker Mayfield and on social media.
Right.
And now, and this is just a sad situation. Henry Ruggs, the talented wide receiver for the Las Vegas Raiders, Rob, killed someone while driving, apparently under the influence. He's been charged with DUI resulting in death for his involvement in a car accident early this morning that took the life of a victim. The police are saying that Ruggs showed signs of impairment. We don't know, was that drugs? Was it alcohol? We don't know how much.
Right.
Was he above the legal limit? Yeah, but unfortunately, someone is dead because of this, and it's just obviously, it's so sad, the person that lost their life. And Rob G, are there any details on that person who lost their life?
It was a 23-year-old female, and that is all they explain at the moment.
23 years old. It wouldn't be good if, no matter the age.
No matter the age, you're 100% right. Because you don't want to go like that where somebody's impaired and they wind up taking your life. And so often it's not what I can't understand, Chris, and this is not just this case, but in general. How often is it that the person who's impaired, they don't die? It's always the other person. You know?
Right. Not that you want them to die.
No,
I don't want anybody to die.
No, but you know what my point is? Like, there's a car crash, and oftentimes it's the person who's not impaired who's just driving along, and this thing happens to them. It's sad.
I don't know what the percentages of those are, but you're right.
It just seems like it.
The big ones that we hear about a lot, yeah, that is the case. And just unfortunate. And the question, not to move on from the real serious stuff, which is that someone lost their life. We're going to see Ruggs. He's 22 years old, Rob G. 22 years old. Really was having a nice year for the Raiders. Had a bit of the dropsies last year, but was really, I thought, playing good football this year. And had become, Derek Carr's really, after Hunter Renfrow, obviously, and Darren Waller.
And also, it says
Ruggs, they had a great receiving core.
They said his girlfriend, too, Chris, was a passenger in his Corvette and suffered serious injuries in the collision as well. So she's in bad shape. Wow. She's in serious condition.
Again, Rob, we don't know what his blood alcohol level was, but you just gotta make better decisions. If indeed he was legally drunk,
right? They think he was impaired. Here's a little more detail, Chris, about the woman. Cops said that the driver of the Toyota got trapped in her seat and was unable to escape before the flames engulfed the car, and she was pronounced dead at the scene.
So she was alive, and then the flames. Oh, it's just terrible. It's just terrible. There's really nothing to say, but it's terrible.
Right.
Obviously,
and here's the other thing.
Have been behind the wheel, like you said. They've got car services through the NFL.
The NFL has
Uber,
it, right?
All of these things.
Chris, we didn't have that when we were covering sports and hanging out after games. I know you didn't hang out like I did, but there weren't as many options, right? You could try to get a cab. Cabs weren't everywhere. Right. Now you can call an Uber. You can do that or Lyft. Like, there are options for you. Leave your car, get it tomorrow. But you don't want to put yourself in that situation. And I just don't drive. I remember Chris, you remember my birthday party on the rooftop in L.A. Remember a few years ago?
You
had a
were
birthday
loaded.
party, and I got loaded. No doubt. Chris, I was drunk, right? And I did not drive home. And
How'd
one of
you
the
get
young
home?
guys, Devontae was there. He's a film student, and he's one of the guys I mentor. And Devontae wasn't drinking, or maybe had one or something, but he was like, I'll drive you home. And I gladly gave him the keys.
Were you planning on driving home?
Well, I had the car there. You know what I mean? I didn't know if I was going to, how many drinks I was going to have or whatever, but it was my birthday. People were buying me drinks, and I got out of control. But I never for 1 second did I think about driving home. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was either someone at the party is going to drive me, and friends look out for friends. So Devontae dropped me off at my house, Chris, and took an Uber from my house to his house, or back to the bar to get his car. So he did all that for me. But that's what friends do.
Right. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, man. And, it's got to become second nature that if you know you've been drinking significantly, that you just have somebody else drive. You just don't drive. Remember, Rob, when you and I were growing up, we didn't wear seatbelts.
Nope.
I was 4 years old riding in the front seat of the car with no seatbelt with my parents. Because that's how it was back then. Bouncing around in the back seat with no seatbelts on.
Chris, we got a moonshot in the baseball game.
Yeah, they're up 3-0, right?
Yep.
Atlanta's up 3-0. But now it's second nature. When they first came out with the seatbelt laws, Rob, it was kind of like, man, seatbelts. You never wore seatbelts.
No,
And
I told you before, we used to have
it became second nature.
We had a convertible. My dad had an Eldorado convertible, Chris. And the kids, we used to be bopping around in the back seat, no top on the car.
Bounced out of the car.
Right. And we would drive around New York City on the highway, be in the back seat. Young kids, Chris.
Yeah.
Not strapped in.
No, that's how it was. But now it's second nature. As soon as I get in the car, it's just natural. My first instinct is to buckle up.
Yeah.
So it's got to be the same thing when you've been drinking. You've got to, guys, girls have got to get to the point where it's just automatic. Like, I'm not even thinking about, not even considering driving like this. So,
no. and
prayers
especially,
out, for everybody involved in this.
Yes, but if you're in a situation where even the league sets it up for you, and I get it, he's with his girlfriend, he's got his Corvette, but you can't get behind the wheel. Get in a Lyft, get in the Uber, Chris. Leave your car if your girlfriend was drinking, and get it tomorrow.
Yep.
Get it tomorrow.
Yep. And I'm sure he wishes he had done that now. Now, Rob, back in 2009, you might remember Dante Stallworth, NFL player. He faced DUI manslaughter charges. Similar situation.
Vehicular homicide, right?
Yeah, he killed a pedestrian in Miami. Now, he was suspended for a year by the NFL, and he settled with the family of the victim in a civil court and accepted a plea deal that resulted in just 30 days in jail with probation. Now, the difference is that the victim that was killed was jaywalking.
Right.
And so that was a loophole that really ended up making the sentence much lighter, as you could see.
Because he wasn't supposed to be in the street, but still,
exactly.
Dante Stallworth wasn't supposed to be behind the wheel with alcohol, right?
Right.
Like it was two wrongs.
Right. And so it doesn't look like, at least at this point, that I know it's not a jaywalker, obviously, but that if there's no, wrongdoing on the victim's part, like if it was Ruggs' fault,
right? Oh yeah, no, it would have been totally different.
His career could be over.
Yep. No, that definitely. And the other part too, and why I'm sure he settled with the family, Chris, because if he wasn't impaired And even though the pedestrian was jaywalking, he would have been able to swerve or miss him. Do you know, like,
Right.
But his judgment was impaired.
Right.
So I think that's why you decide to settle. And he was fortunate. 30 days in jail for killing somebody?
I know. So, like we said, prayers out to everybody involved. Henry Ruggs, obviously the victim and her family. Even the Raiders, because this is the type of thing, I don't even mean from a football standpoint, but it's the type of thing that can rock players mentally, emotionally, spiritually in that locker room. And so it's just an unfortunate situation all the way around.